Before we get on with the podcast, I'd like to mention that I now have 3 books for sale on Kindle. Recommended Reading for the True Conservative, Bad Democrat, and now Evil Liberal. All available for $3.99 or through Kindle Unlimited. Now, on with the podcast.
I put on and took off my pants standing up. I don't want to do that anymore. You look at toe, it's 2 hops and a crash.
Good morning. It's Friday, Fight Song Friday, July the 10th, and this is The True Conservative. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host and the only true conservative in the United States today. So today, after the Serenity Prayer and the patriotic song of the day, we will have Varney and Company, Dangerous Conservative, music, and fight song. All that and more when I get back. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I should not change, the courage to change the things I should, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thank you. Now, Varney and Company.
Varney Company picks it up. David Asman in for Stu.
$71. With all the craziness in the Middle East, it is extraordinary that it is going down, that it hasn't popped more. Maria, great show. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm David Asman in for Stuart Varney. You'll be happy to know Stuart's going to be back on Monday. A new Israeli intel report claiming that Iran hatched a plot to assassinate President Trump. This is Tehran publicly displays several different banners declaring, quote, "We will kill Trump." Now, despite the escalation of rhetoric and fresh strikes after the ceasefire collapse, talks are still expected to move forward. On Wall Street, futures are mixed ahead of the open. We see the Dow Jones and the S&P in positive territory, but NASDAQ is down about 128. Again, pre-market activity. And as Marie and I were just talking, oil prices are actually below 70 or right at $72 for a barrel of West Texas crude here. Well, investors also watching the NASDAQ debut of South Korean chipmaker SK Hynix. We're going to be talking about that. And in politics, Graham Plattner says he suspended his campaign, but he has not actually withdrawn yet, reportedly telling staff he's going to formally exit ahead of Monday's 5 p.m. filing deadline. But is there any chance that he refuses to exit on Monday? It is Friday, July 10th. Varney and Company.
Or Assman and Company. He's been there all week. You may as well just own the show. Non-profit news now. Back in a minute. Thank you. The conservative fears being called selfish. They fear losing the identity of the good one. But what they don't realize is that by allowing their empathy to be used as a weapon against themselves, they're not being good, they're being consumed. The bad Democrat thrives on your self-doubt, not by accident, and not as a byproduct of some chaotic dynamic, but deliberately and methodically. They feed on self-doubt because for the bad Democrat to maintain their illusion of superiority, someone else has to play the inferior role. And who better than the conservative? Someone already inclined to question themselves, someone who sees value in growth, reflection, and understanding. These traits, while admirable, become vulnerabilities in the hands of someone who seeks control, not connection. In the early stages, the bad Democrat doesn't attack directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, they plant seeds. They drop subtle comments. Their phrases seem harmless and in isolation even reasonable, but over time they create a fracture in the conservative sense of reality. The conservative begins to doubt their own perceptions, to second-guess their own feelings. They ask themselves, did I overreact? Did I misunderstand? Is it my fault? This is called gaslighting, and it's not simply manipulation, it's psychological destabilization. The bad Democrat doesn't just want the conservative to feel bad, they want the conservative to become dependent on them to define what is true. The bad Democrat becomes the authority on reality. Once that dynamic is in place, the conservative no longer trusts themselves. They defer, they submit, they conform. All of this happens quietly, beneath the surface, often without a single raised voice. And while the conservative spirals inward, struggling with confusion and shame, the bad Democrat thrives. That usually starts with a dialect because self-doubt weakens boundaries. When you question your self-worth, you don't demand respect. When you question your memory, you don't defend your perspective. When you question your emotions, you suppress your needs. The bad Democrat knows this. Perhaps not always consciously, but they instinctively push in the direction where they feel the most leverage. And your self-doubt is a wide open door. This is not about the bad Democrat being hurt or insecure. That narrative often protects them. They're not wounded children lashing out. They are adults making choices that preserve their power. Their behavior is not the result of emotional incompetence, but strategic domination. They maintain control by fragmenting your confidence because a fractured self cannot resist. It can only comply, hoping that enough compliance will lead to peace. What's most insidious is that the bad Democrat will often cloak their attacks in concern. They may frame their criticism as just being honest or claim they're helping you grow. They might say things like, I just want what's best for the country, while simultaneously undermining the country. Every aspect of who we are, our appearance, our intelligence, our capabilities, all gradually called into question. Not always through insults, but through comparison, sarcasm, or emotional withdrawal. The goal is always the same. Make you doubt yourself so deeply that you cling to them for validation. And when you do seek their validation, they withhold it. They ration approval like a drug dealer controlling supply. One day they'll praise you. The next day they'll go cold. This cycle of approval and rejection becomes addictive. The conservative, desperate to regain a sense of equilibrium, tries harder. They become more compliant, more accommodating, more self-erasing, believing that if they can just do everything right, the bad Democrat will cooperate. But that moment never comes, because it's not about being right. It's about staying unsure. The bad Democrat doesn't want peace. They want dominance, and self-doubt is the perfect leash. It keeps the conservative within range, compliant, and confused, constantly working to regain something they never actually lost, their worth. Over time, this internalized self-doubt reshapes the conservative's identity. Back in a minute. Thank you. This is Ron, your host, the only true conservative in the United States today, bidding adios to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there, and reminding you that you're not neutral and that the government has no rights.